Hello, and welcome. Today we are going to be practicing our mid-module test by doing a mid-module 3 review. Our objective is that I can practice some of the skills that will be on tomorrow's math test. Can y'all believe we're already halfway through this module? Here are instructions. Tomorrow during math class, you will be taking a test on what we have learned in Module 3 so far. Many of these problems will look like the work that you'll be doing tomorrow, so be sure to read the instructions and do the strategies that they ask you to practice. And I'm going to be really specific about this last sentence. In fact, I'm going to read it again so it melts in your brain. Be sure to read the instructions and do the strategies that they ask you to practice. I know that we've practiced a number of strategies and some of you have definitely picked out your favorites. But on your test, they're going to want you to specifically do certain strategies for certain problems. Like, for example, you might see a problem asking you to use the area model strategy. The area model strategy is a very specific way to multiply. And if you simply solve it using whatever strategy you want, you're only going to get about half the points that you could possibly earn on that question. So we're going to practice an area model problem on our review today. You're going to be solving 354 times 4. I know that Seesaw has its own drawing tools, but I'm going to encourage you today to do all of your work either on paper and a whiteboard and upload a picture of it. Because strategies like the area model take up space. You need room to do all of that drawing, all of that multiplying, and all of that adding. If you're sitting there saying, Mrs. Schumann, I totally forgot what an area model looks like, no worries. Let's look at one together right now before you're expected to do one on your own. On your review, you're going to notice that one side of your screen is always going to give you notes showing you how to do the problem. So for example, in this area model, you can see the number sentence 6 times 324. It's called an area model because we're showing the multiplication sentence like we're finding the area of this tape diagram right here. The height is 6 and the width is 324. But to make it a little bit simpler for us, we're going to expand the number 324 into 300, 20, and 4. That way, we're finding the area one partial product at a time. 6 times 300, 6 times 20, and 6 times 4. Once we found the area of all these three smaller sections of the tape diagram, we can add them together and solve for our total. So here are the instructions for an area model of this number sentence. We expand the number 324 so we can multiply it one place value at a time. Then we multiply each place value by 6. 6 times the ones, so 6 times 4 ones equals 24. 6 times the tens, 6 times 2 tens, known as 20, equals 120. And 6 times 300s. 6 times 300 equals 1,800. We're careful to make sure we include how many zeros are in each place value. In 324, the 2 tens isn't just 2. I wouldn't only do 6 times 2. 2 tens needs to have that 0 at the end to make the number 20. Otherwise, we're not going to be adding up the correct numbers to find our total product. So after this video, your first problem you're going to be doing is an area model for 354 times 4. Draw your area model on a whiteboard or piece of paper, solve it, and upload your picture into this box so I can see all of the steps of your work. The next strategy that you're going to practice today is your partial products, which is very similar to the tape diagram that we just did, only we're taking away, well, the tape. We're going to be stacking the numbers like it's a standard algorithm, and then multiplying each place value at a time. We multiply each place value by the bottom number. 4 times the ones is 4 times 2, which equals 8. 4 times the tens is 4 times 80. Make sure that there's a 0 there to mark that it's 8 tens, and that's 320. And then 4 times the hundreds place. 4 times 300, which is 1200. Once I have all of these partial products for each place value, I can And finally, 4 times the hundreds would be 4 times 300, which is 1,200. Once I have all of my partial products, I can add them together to find my total. Your responsibility in your review today is that on your sheet of paper or whiteboard, wherever you're going to be doing that work, you're going to show a partial products method of solving this problem and uploading a picture in this box right here. Last but not least, I don't think you'll be upset about this one. You guys are fans of our standard algorithm. You're going to solve a problem using the standard algorithm. If you forgot what that looks like, it's very similar to our partial products. We're going to stack our numbers the same way with our large number at the top and our single digit down at the bottom lined up. But instead of adding each partial product together, we're going to regroup one number at a time on the same line. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 6 is 42. I leave the 2 ones and I carry over the 4 into the hundreds place. 7 times 2 is 14 plus 4 more equals 18. So then my total answer would be 1,827. So your third task in your review today is solving 1,357 times 5 using this standard algorithm strategy. Again, I don't want you to draw on your screen today. I prefer that you did your work on whiteboard, paper, give yourself room to really get all of that space and work in, and then upload a picture of it. The last part of your review today is going to be a word problem. And even though it's one word problem, we're going to break it up into 3 smaller pieces so it's more manageable. When we solve word problems, we solve it using a process called RDW, which stands for read, draw, and write. We are going to solve this problem using the RDW process, read, draw, write. Step 1, read and make marks. For you to get all of your points on your test tomorrow, whenever you see your word problem, you're going to make marks on it to show that you did the reading part of read, draw, write. You guys know that in small groups or even in my videos, whenever I'm looking at a word problem, I like to do things like circle my numbers. So I'm going to do that now. I also like to underline my question. And I box my math action words. Words that help me know what I'm going to be doing in the next step of my word problem. So that's what you'll be responsible for on this slide. You're going to circle, underline, and box just like when we do our small group math problems as well. After you read the problem, we're going to move on to steps 2 and 3 of read, draw, write, which is drawing and writing. So I rewrote the question for you right here. You don't have to mark it up like you did on the last slide. Once you've marked up this slide, that's good enough. But when you go on the next slide, I still wanted you to have the information in front of you. Sarah bought a shirt on sale for $35. The original price of the shirt was 3 times that amount. What was the original price of the shirts? Upload a picture of your work and answer as a statement here. The drawing part is the showing your work. When you make tape diagrams or area models, when you draw pictures of what you're doing, that's the drawing portion of the RDW process. Writing is for when you find your answer, because whenever we do a word problem, we want to know, what does that number mean? So when you have your answer, we put it in a statement. The original price of the shirts was blah-de-blah-de-blah. And that takes care of the writing part of read, draw, write. Because there is so much room on this slide, I'm going to give you the choice of whether or not you want to draw directly onto it, or if you're going to upload a picture. I would always recommend uploading a picture. You never know how much space you're truly going to need, but I do understand that this slide is larger. So if you think you can fit your drawings and statements in there, you can try it, but I always think it's a safer bet to use your whiteboard or paper. The next part of the question says, Sarah also bought a pair of shoes on sale for $28. The original price of the shoes was 5 times that amount. What was the original price of the shoes? You're going to do the same process you did in the last word problem. You're going to start by reading and making marks, circling your numbers, underlining your questions, boxing your math action words, and then you're going to go on to the next slide and do the problem by drawing and writing it out. You'll do that with this last step of the word problem. Together, how much money did the shirt and shoes cost before the sale? Circle, underline, and box this slide and show your drawings and your answer as a statement on this slide. So now that you know your expectations for your review and some of the expectations you'll have on tomorrow's test, it is your turn. Now you are going to go on to Seesaw, add a response, and work on your review. Good luck!